the more of a successful person you become, your problems are getting bigger, but you're more equipped to deal with those problems.
Exactly. So as you gain success, you gain bigger problems, but you grow to be bigger than your problems.
Yeah.
Now imagine if problems were measured on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being a minor problem, 10 being a huge problem. If you were a level 2 person and you encounter a level 4 problem, you're going to be overwhelmed by it. It's going to seem like a huge deal. But if that level 2 person worked on themselves, so they became a level 5 person, then the level 4 problem is beneath them and it's not so much of a problem. So that's why this illustrates why you should adopt the success-based mentality of growing yourself, tackle these problems as you encounter them, as you march towards your success.
All right, Chris. So I want us to talk about personal growth today.
All right, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Go.
So if you don't want to be middle-aged and miserable, or if you want to achieve more success in your life, then you have to elevate your personal growth.
So why? What are the benefits of doing that?
Well, personal growth can benefit you by giving you motivation, purpose, meaning, and ultimately happiness. Because in general, as humans, we want to grow. When we're growing, we feel energized. And I think back to when I was like 17 and I was really into guitar and I was doing relentless scales on the guitar. And, you know, they're boring. It's not playing AC/DC. It's boring stuff, but I was just energized. I just remember it was a really happy time of my life when I was just energized and happy and motivated because I was learning and essentially growing.
Wow. At 17, that's pretty good for a teenager.
Yeah.
It took me many years to get to that point later on. I mean, now, a few years ago, I remember, I wanted to set myself a goal of I want to learn one big thing, one skill every year or 2 or 3 years, whatever it is. So I decided a few years ago I wanted to learn Spanish. Don't ask me why. I wanted to learn Spanish. And I remember, so I've gone through it now, and I reckon now, having done it for about 2 or 3 years, I've probably got to the point now where I could get by, starting from zero. And I'm dead proud of myself. I'm really happy about having achieved that goal that I set out to do, really. And learning that really energized me. It's great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for being on a path to something. So personal growth gives you that sort of happiness.
Yeah.
But it can also give you confidence because learning gives you confidence.
Right.
Because quite often we're unconfident because of the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You know, if you learn and grow, you suddenly automatically have confidence in a certain area.
Yeah. That reminds me, we've spent a lot of time learning, just reading self-help books, like 50, 60 self-help books.
Yeah.
And we are now here talking about self-help, whereas before that, we didn't know anything about self-help at all. We didn't even have the confidence to even talk about it with an authority. And now, because we've learned so much about it and we've found that we can help others, here we are doing a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome.
So essentially, you're happier and you're gaining confidence when you're growing.
Right.
And you know, there's the side product where it leaves you feeling energized as well.
So what happens if you're not growing then?
Well, imagine somebody who sits around watching TV all day in, day out, doing the same sort of thing. Do you think that person will be energized, motivated, living a life of purpose and happiness?
Yeah.
Or someone who's stuck in a job, doing the same thing every day, never really reaching for a promotion, just happy to be comfortable, never pushing for more, settling. Yeah. Do you think they're happy?
No. I mean, clearly not. Well, actually, some people I do know, that's their lot. You know, they may be just content. I wouldn't say happy, but just kind of content with doing that, not really pushing themselves, just kind of drifting from one thing to another.
But there's nothing wrong with that, though. No, that's just a personality.
No, there
type,
are people
right?
like that, and that's okay, and that is fine. That's just their personality. But that's not us. That's not
us, and we're presuming that anyone listening to this podcast has a similar personality to us.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, we would prefer to be growing, fulfilled and energized. You know, so, you know, how we think is we want to be constantly evolving into the best version of ourselves.
What if you're driven to succeed and you want to succeed? How is personal growth? This might sound like a rhetorical question, but how is personal growth related to that?
To success, personal growth is directly related to success, and there's one huge reason for it, and that is that you have to be the type of person that can live the life that you want. You've essentially got to grow into the person that can receive the life you desire, because your success can only grow at the rate you grow. Right.
Yeah. And that's a little bit related to how the journey we've been on with our real estate business. We many years ago we decided we'd flip houses, for example, and we that first house that we bought was, looking back, is a small house and it was a small purchase, and that was scary. We weren't those people at that time. That was scary. And now we've grown and learned and become more confident. And now we look back at, I look back at those purchases for those small houses, and that's not who we are now. That, to me, that's small and that's easy, but it wasn't at the time.
Yeah, and we employed people, and we had there were times when we had to let people go, make tough decisions, and we couldn't have done all of that if we hadn't grown into those type of people that could deal with that kind of success.
Right,
you want to call it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
another example could be maybe you want more money. When you do have that money, you'll have to deal with that money. You're going to have to invest it, move it around, maybe take some risks, and be comfortable doing that. So you have to learn about money, and you have to grow into the sort of person that can manage that amount of money.
And that's that same example. We look back now at the amount of money that we were dealing with. We were scared of that, and now we look back, having grown, and we make much bigger decisions now.
Yeah. So the summary really is, if you want success in any field, you have to grow into the person that can handle the life you desire in that field.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just won't be able to deal with the day-to-day demands of that role. And there's another huge point about success, and that is that it brings problems. It brings bigger problems.
You need to kind of dig in a little more on that, because it doesn't mean the more successful you are, the more problems you get. You're talking about the more of a successful person you become, your problems are getting bigger, but you're more equipped to deal with those problems.
Exactly.
Like for example, Jeff Bezos, when he was probably in college, he was making smaller decisions than the multi-billion-dollar decisions he's making now. You just grown into that person.
Exactly. So as you gain success, you gain bigger problems, but you grow to be bigger than your problems.
Yeah, you've got that. What is that? You've got a scale almost, a type of person, like you're leveling up.
Yeah, this is from Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. So he says, imagine people and their level of growth were measured on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest. So someone who's a 1 is someone who's unsuccessful, spends no time learning, sits around watching TV all day complaining. 10 is the highest, a high achiever, always learning, growing. Let's say they're a CEO or something like that of a company. Now imagine if problems were measured on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a minor problem, 10 being a huge problem. If you were a level 2 person and you encounter a level 4 problem, you're going to be overwhelmed by it. It's going to seem like a huge deal.
Yeah.
But if that level 2 person worked on themselves, so they became a level 5 person, then the level 4 problem is beneath them and it's not so much of a problem.
I love that.
And then imagine if they grew into a level 7 or 8 person, they wouldn't even notice the level 4 problem.
level 4 problem. Yeah.
So that's why this illustrates why you should adopt the success-based mentality of growing yourself, so you can tackle these problems as you encounter them, as you march towards your success.
But there's not a lot of people do that, really. That's not their attitude, typically. Most people don't want to grow. Most people want their problems to simply just disappear on their own. And that's not what we do anymore, and that's not the mindset of a successful person at all, is it, really?
Exactly. So we know that we've got to increase our personal growth. So how do we do it? So there's 3 main areas.
Right.
And we've had a go at all of these, haven't we, Pat?
We have.
Number 1 is learning or education. So you've just got to always be learning and develop a thirst for knowledge. I mean, I do this, and I hated college and school, but I love learning.
Because you're doing it on your terms now.
Yeah, exactly. Just books, and I never read books either, but once Audible came out, I was all over it. I was just constantly listening to books in downtime, like my commute, or, I listened to 55 self-help books in 2 years, and I just devoured it because I just looked at commute time as wasted time, and it was an opportunity.
It's like also on YouTube, the Audible thing completely transformed my commute back into work as well, really, because now I find myself, I'm listening to a book that I'm riveted in, listening to Audible, and I want to pick the slowest lane now instead of the fastest lane.
Said nobody ever.
Podcasts is another one.
Yeah.
And all of this, like, it's all free. It's all out there.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the internet today.
Not only is it great
all
content,
of that is
it's
out
free.
There.
Yeah. Coaching. I've done some coaching.
Yeah.
Not everyone can afford that, obviously, but it can be massively valuable, if nothing else, to help you avoid mistakes. If someone else has already done something that you want to do, you can avoid wasting years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You had a mentor at one point.
Yeah. Well, mentors are huge too. I'm going to do a whole show on mentors. So there's a sidebar on this, right? Because you can get a little bit addicted to learning, and
analysis paralysis. Yeah.
It can be a form of procrastination, actually, because you're learning and not actually doing. But we just, with house flipping, we just did it, didn't we?
We didn't feel ready at the time. We'd learned a lot about it. We talked to a lot of people, and we were kind of like, it felt good because you feel like you're making progress, but you're not actually doing anything. And then that first deal came along, and we were like, oh my God, we've got to do this now. And once we jumped into it, and then you've really not got any choice. You have to make this work. So you learn so much by actually doing it. And you learn from the first deal, we learned from the second. We actually didn't make any money on the second or the third deal, whichever one it was.
Yeah.
But I found that an interesting process once I got over the fact that we did a lot of stuff wrong and didn't make any money. Because you look back at that and you think, okay, what did we do wrong? And let's not do that again. And I almost feel that we've learned more from failure than we learned from the success.
Definitely learned more from failure because it hurts. It hurts,
and you don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, you want to avoid it at all costs. All right, second area of personal growth is getting out of your comfort zone. So you just got to do stuff that make you feel uncomfortable, like you just said. Buying those houses was very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We were going to real estate meetups, and just going up to complete strangers and introducing ourselves and not knowing anything about real estate. Yeah. And we just had to do it, right? Because you got this circle around you, this comfort zone. And then once you push yourself, then your comfort zone just becomes bigger and you occupy this new space. So it just gets easier and easier, doesn't it? The more you step out.
It does. I think we joined that workout group F3. And I remember the first time I ran a workout, there was like 10 guys there. And I was scared to death about doing this, just in front of 10 guys running a workout. And then you kind of level up. Like you become a level up person. And now I'm running workouts with 50, 60 guys in there. And I can do it without almost any planning. It's become second nature because my comfort zone has increased in that. And that's doing this.
Yeah, doing this. Being on camera.
Doing the podcast. That was quite uncomfortable at first. It's still not easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, being on camera. And that's getting us out of our comfort zone and growing.
Yeah. All right, so that was learning, comfort zone.
Yeah.
Third area of personal growth, people.
Right.
So the people you surround yourself with play a huge part in your personal growth.
Right.
If you hang around with people that are high achievers, you're going to be a high achiever. If you hang around people that are stuck and stagnant, you're going to be stagnant.
Yeah, they're going to pull you down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Does that phrase, I mean, I wish I'd have coined that one, that you are the average of the 5 people closest to you in your life. And that is so true.
Yeah, exactly. Mentors, you just touched on it. Hanging around with a mentor is always going to make you better and help you avoid mistakes and wasting time. And we will do a show on mentors, that's for sure. So those were the 3 areas of personal growth. But there's something, even once you've done all the learning, you've got out of your comfort zone and you've got all of the best people around you, there's still something that can hold you back. Belief. Your belief.
There's a lot here.
Yeah, there's a lot here. And we will do an entire episode on this as well, or episodes. But if you don't believe something, that you deserve something, it will not come to you. And this is one of the central messages of the book Think and Grow Rich. But there's a lot of reasons for this, but the short version for this episode is you must believe that you can achieve success, or it will never come to you. It will somehow elude you, or you will self-sabotage and push it away.
So how do you believe? How do you become that?
Well,
how do you work on your belief?
Well, we there's several ways, but that specifically related to what we've talked about today is that the good news is doing these things, they fuel your belief. So learning fuels belief. Mm-hmm. So you might, for example, not believe that you're the sort of person that could deal with large amounts of money. But if you learn about financial management and educate yourself on investing, then you start to believe that you can be the sort of person that can handle large amounts of money.
Yeah, I love that. Getting out your comfort zone, like you talked about. I remember public speaking, doing presentations at work, and but first that's scary, and then the feeling you get after having done one, you think to yourself, that wasn't as bad as I was thinking, and the next time you do it, you know you can do it because you've already done it. You've proven to yourself then you are a bigger person, and you believe you can do it better.
Yeah,
and that.
Definitely. And then if something bigger came along, you would have that belief that, I've done it in front of these people, I can do it in front of more.
Yeah, yeah.
And hanging around with the right people also builds belief. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when we started going to those...
that was inspirational.
The real estate.
We went to those real estate meetups, and there was a guy he worked at Microsoft. I remember this. He worked at Microsoft, and he was doing what we were aspiring to do. And he had a full-time job, and he was a real estate investor. And he got to the point where he was going to leave his main job, and it had substituted his income, his real estate on the side activities, and he was leaving Microsoft. And we're like, wow, if he can do it, so can we.
Yeah.
That was a huge moment.
Yeah, we were hanging around with him. We were having a lot of conversations with him, and it was just, that's who we wanted to be with. We wanted to hang around with the guy that's doing what we want to do.
It really was inspirational.
Yeah. All right, so that was personal growth, Pat. Mm-hmm. Let's summarize a little bit. So personal growth makes you happy and purposeful.
Right.
We talked about how you have to level up as a person to live the life of a successful person. And then we talked about the three ways.
Comfort zone.
Yeah, comfort zone, learning, comfort zone, and surrounding yourself with high achieving people will help you grow. And all three of those things will also help you build the belief that you need to be successful in whatever it is you choose to do.
Love it.
Okay, Pat, show's over, but
it's not really.
There might be some people hanging around. So we're going to talk about what it's like to be a Brit living in America. Some strange observations.
Let's talk about the grammar and the American words and English words.
It was going to come up sooner or later, wasn't it?
It was.
All right. So they say that the UK and the US are two different nations separated by a common language.
I do love that phrase.
I think that's true.
It is very true.
Let's start with words.
Go on then.
Herb instead of herb.
Herb with an H.
Yeah.
This is one that's a good one. My kids are saying it now. Math, not maths. Maths. Because it's mathematics. It's not mathematic.
Yeah. Maths. Faucet.
Tap.
That's a tap to us.
Why faucet? I don't know where that even
Don't
comes
we say
from.
that for an outdoor tap?
In England?
Maybe.
I don't think so. I've never heard of it.
Nothing inside the house. Anything inside the house is a tap.
It's a tap. It's only 3 letters. It's easy.
All right, that was words. Spellings.
Oh, this could be...
Plough. We say P-L-O-U-G-H and it's P-L-O-W.
I didn't even know that. P-L-O-W here.
Yeah.
Plough.
Grey is an A here. We say we got an E.
G-R-E-Y. Yeah. I've been here so long now, I actually forgotten how to spell it.
I'm like that with a lot of things. Favourite. I spell that the American way now.
No, I don't. I've actually changed my Microsoft spell checker to English. So it now actually auto-corrects me back in, and it puts all the U's back in the words that they're supposed to be in, like favourite and flavour. And program, there's another one. Program, M-M-E.
Oh, yeah. No, well, that's because we say French. We do French spellings, I think.
Right.
Like centre. Like we don't do centre ER, we do RE, which
true.
Or mitre is the same RE.
Yeah,
that's probably quite weird.
They spell mitre, M-I-T-E-R.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Drive through or drive through?
Admittedly, it's a lot quicker
It is.
to spell it that way.
What about grammar?
This gets me.
My bad.
You hate that one.
I can't. It's grammatically incorrect. Bad is an adjective, not a noun. So you can't have a bad. You can't hold a bad. You know.
Sorry, that's my bad.
What's next? Like my happy. That's my happy. That's my smelly.
What you do when you've been to the toilet? Oh, sorry, that was my smelly.
Yeah. The worst word though. Like my bad gets me every time, but the worst, and it's on all the TV all the time, any sports TV.
I know what you're going to say here.
Winningest.
Yeah, the winningest team.
Winningest.
That's not even kindergarten correct. It's
not a word.
Nursery school correct.
But they don't say losingest.
No.
Winningest.
The winningest team.
I think I know why, because you can be the funniest or the happiest, and that's because it's a word that ends with a Y. So you substitute the Y with the ist, the I-E-E-S-T.
Okay. That's allowed.
But winning, the trouble is winning doesn't end with a Y. Winning ends with ing. So that's why it goes weird when you say winningest. It's like walking. Like you're not if you walk the most, you're not the walkingest person.
The walkingest person.
Do you think a lot, Pat?
No, I think I am the thinkingest person.
But they are more efficient. I've got to admit, like just saying plow, P-L-O-W. I think actually it's a good idea because all these O-U-G-H. I've got to admit that.
I'm going to give them that.
Yeah, and
my dad would disagree, but yeah, there is an efficient way of doing it. The way they, the pronunciation as well. If you think about I think it expends less energy to say 33 as opposed to 33.
Yeah,
it's a little bit easier. It flows a little bit.
T's and D's, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it.
Do you remember that clip with Jonathan Ross talking about he was on a plane?
Oh, he's on a plane.
He's asking for
fuzzy wawa.
He's asking for fizzy water, and the woman's not understanding him and saying fuzzy wawa because he's trying to put on an American accent like water, and he's like fuzzy wawa.
Because water. Even my wife on a plane will say when she asks, "What do you want to drink?" It'd be like water, and she doesn't. They don't understand her.
Yeah.
Water. She has to pronounce it the American way.
Yeah, I
water.
do. But then when we do, we sound like idiots because we can't do it very well.
No.
All right. Anyway, that's enough of that.
All right.
So that's the end of the show. We talked about personal growth, and we talked about weird grammar.
Who's right or who's wrong? It doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Or it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. Also, check out our social media content for more ways to avoid being middle-aged and miserable.